the reason why you didn't have enough time is because you already had your business started, right? Like, you had barely time to school. I remember we were in calculus. We were in some business calculus class. The only reason it was called business calculus is going to teach you one compound interest formula the very first day, and the rest is just calculus. Like, we just got punked, dude. Like, I don't understand. Like, amount of classes that are just, like, business classes, they're not. They're just, like, these, like, revamped junior and senior high school classes that are, like, a little bit harder. It's just, like, man, it just sucks. Yo, what the fuck? You're back at it again, listening to the worst fucking podcast on the internet. I said, copy, let's fucking get into it. Oh, shit.
Alright. Oh. Yeah, I'm getting ready for the Olympics, bro. Alright, so we're syncing up audio, okay? 1,
2,
3.
Alright guys, welcome back to the Dropouts podcast. Okay, not welcome back because this is our first episode. You're with the hosts, Gray Fam, and we got Cameron Wagner, which is me. So this is the first episode, so obviously you guys don't know us. But this podcast, what are we talking about, Gray?
Alright, so welcome to the Dropouts. We dropped out of college, so you don't have to. It's a business entrepreneurship podcast where we interview other people, talk about business, talk about new trending things, and really dive into business and entrepreneurship in a little bit more of a fun, energetic way that's not so straightforward, professional, Not to say that we aren't professional, but it's going to be funny, it's going to be fun. We're going to have a little more energy than your average podcast.
Yeah,
so it's more about,
we don't know shit. Like, how old are you? I'm 20 years old. I mean, I've done some business stuff, and, like, I was, I went through college maybe a year and a half, and I know some stuff about other stuff. But, how old are you? You're 19, right?
No, I'm 20. Don't worry, we're the same age.
Alright,
But, I mean, we both run our own businesses. He's got a successful YouTube, which we'll get into later. I've got a pretty successful business. But, like,
I know some stuff.
He's got his shit together, don't worry. But our point being is we're still learning, too. So don't take every word that we have, take it with a grain of salt, But at the same time, we're going to try and learn as much with you guys as well as spread what we do know. So
yeah, it's more of like it's like our journey, It's like we're figuring stuff out. You guys are figuring stuff out. We're both young. We just got in our 20s. Like we're trying to figure out this whole entrepreneurship thing out. I've been doing it for many years. I love it. It's like the best thing. That's why I dropped out of college. Let's start out with like a little background on you. So like, and then I'll go to me. So where are you from? Like, what college should you go to? Stuff like that.
Yeah. So I was born and raised in San Diego, California. Went to San Diego State University. That's where I met Cameron. We both were in the Entrepreneurship Society. Basically, I wasn't always into the whole business thing. That was more of a recent thing. But I always had like a taste for video. And I currently run a film and media business in the motorsports industry, which is a very different industry, but it's fast growing and it's got a lot of potential for growth. And so I got into motorsports at a relatively young age. I started road racing motorcycles when I was 11. And from there, I kind of started taking it a little more seriously. It wasn't a hobby, became into almost a full-time job. It was a full-time job, and so I became a professional athlete when I was 15, and I started traveling the country, started competing at a high level, and we'll dive into this in another time. But from there, in 2017, I quote-unquote retired because I'm not racing professionally anymore, but I took on film, and I started working with the teams through the connections that I made, the riders, and from there I started building up my business to the point where I do this full-time now. I'm going to be traveling. I was supposed to be traveling all year, but obviously with this whole coronavirus thing, it's not going to happen right now. But I'm going to be traveling majority of the year all over the place. I have a trip planned to Europe. I'm going to be all over the East Coast, all over the place. And it's going to be a good time. But that's kind of the background gist, and obviously we'll dive into more of it later on, but that's kind of what is started with my entry into business. So, and obviously he hypes himself down, but I'll let him dive into what he's got going on.
Yeah, so my name's Cameron Wagner. So basically, yeah, so me and you met in college, and before then, so I went the YouTube route, social media. I really like YouTube. I watched like actually an unhealthy amount of YouTube in all different kinds of categories, like automotive, financial, obviously personal finance, real estate, like all this business YouTube stuff, affiliate marketing, like Amazon FBA, all this stuff. And I like to be kind of like know like decent amount about everything, so it's kind of like I like to choose what I want to get into, and I like to try out stuff. I've tried, you know, like drop shipping, all this stereotypical stuff. But so where I came in, I started. If you guys know what airsoft is, it's kind of like paintball. It's like fake guns. You shoot each other, kind of hobby. It's like you go out and play, and you have to have you get like an airsoft gun and you have BBs, and then you shoot each other. Basically, that's the premise of it. But when I was little, I started just kind of filming like myself, like. Basically, like as for fun, you know, starting as like a hobby. I really like making the videos, and I really like the channel, like growing the community and stuff. And then about junior year of high school, I think I started to like, okay, maybe I'll see where I can go with this YouTube thing. And then I started putting a lot more time into videos, a lot more thought, adding like effects, you know, trying with the thumbnails kind of more, like, you know, not just like, you know, how it gives you like these like 3 like default options that are just random like frames from the video. Like I started making my own thumbnails and editing those and kind of adding, you know, more of like interesting titles and kind of trying there. Right now, recently, like a few weeks ago, I hit like 100,000 on YouTube, which is a really cool goal. That was my first major goal I hit. And then right now, with a little bit of extra time, because I used to be doing 2 or 3 videos a week on my airsoft channel, but now I have a little bit more free time because I'm kind of just doing 1 a week for now, just to kind of try to save footage, and so I don't run out. You know, I don't know how long this whole outbreak is gonna last. But I'm starting to pick up like day trading, specifically like futures, like the ES and MES markets, and just kind of like researching about that. And yeah, it's basically what I'm doing, and I'm really into like real estate investing, just trying to keep up with that whole thing. But yeah, it's crazy. So I'm like just starting out my like entrepreneurship career, I guess you could say. Yeah, so what I guess first thing first, we're not technically dropouts yet, but we're both taking leaves of absence.
It's close enough.
Yeah, yeah.
It's close
we're
enough.
Basically like mentally,
we're basically,
like I was like, all right.
We're on quote unquote leaves of absences from San Diego State, which basically means we're not taking any classes, but we're still part of the university. And for me, at least, I'm just trying to take advantage of all the student discounts on Spotify and all these other apps. Like, I don't know about you, but I'm on a budget here. We're low budget production. I need to save my money where I can.
All the Adobe, what is this called? Adobe Creative Cloud, dude. All that $20 a month and stuff, and you get all the apps.
Mm-hmm.
That's what you
same.
gotta do. That's what you gotta do.
So in short, I make money off of taking videos of motorcycles going really fast, and he makes money off of making videos of shooting people with plastic BBs.
Pretty much.
That's the gist of it. That's really what it is. So we're living the life right here.
Yeah.
So, why don't you give us a little bit more of a...
Yeah, how do we, well, so you want to see like how do we meet too? So there's at San Diego State, there's an entrepreneurship like society, which is like a club you could join. I think it's maybe free. I think no, you have to pay to get in, but I just never did. I paid
$60, bro.
Yeah, like I like
$60.
Yeah, it was like what, $60, and you get like a free T-shirt and like a sticker on your ID. But I literally never paid. I never paid, and they just gave me the sticker. I just went to all the meetings. I never paid money. I was like, this is entrepreneurship 101, saving money, right? But
I learned the hard way. Hey, I got a pair of free glasses that you didn't. So
yeah, true. No,
you know,
that's a good investment. No, so there was an interesting meeting, so it was a meeting we had. I was like late to the meeting, I think. Yeah, casual. I was late to literally every class I ever went to because from the beginning, I like as soon as I hit high school, probably I hated school. I'm sure you didn't like schools very much. Like I always tried to find ways out of it or ways to like make money doing something else. I just never thought it was something that I would pursue. Like maybe I'd get a bachelor's, but a master's degree, which is like the new bachelor degree these days. Like I was like, there's no way I'm gonna do that. It's just not my interest. So yeah, but we met in like a meeting. It was like I don't know who was talking. It was like one of the surfer guys.
It was the CEO of Volcom, because I remember I asked a question about getting clients for my film business, and afterwards he approached me and was like, yo, what's up? I'm Cameron. We should connect, and we started talking after that.
Yeah, I was like, no, because literally, like, because this is when I was like kind of starting. I don't even know how many subs I had. Like, not a lot. Like, I must have been like maybe a couple tens of thousands. I don't really know. Like, I was kind of like just starting my momentum on YouTube, and he was like, I heard this guy talking, because not a lot of people run businesses in college, right? Like, that's, like, in my opinion, the most value you get out of your college experience, at least for the entrepreneurship side, is, like, starting your own business and, like, failing at business and, like, realizing, okay, I don't like drop shipping, but I like Amazon FBA, and pursuing that and kind of, like, figuring it all out, I guess. In college, you don't want to... This kid, dude, I swear, this kid, like... Okay, so it was an entrepreneurship meeting, and, like, the very last, like, thing this kid asked, he's like, oh, so, like, if I have a friend, like, he was talking about himself, obviously, he's like, if I had a friend in college, and he's, like, about to graduate, like, what business would you start? And I'm just like, dog, like, that's not how it works, man. Like, you have to have been doing business for years to even be able to do it full time, and it's like, people, it's just, I don't get people, dude. Like, college is a good resource to have, but it's like, you can't just, like, get a college degree and be like, oh, I'm going to start my business. Like, you have to have either built it. Yeah. Like, you don't just get handouts in life. Like, that's not how it works. Like, it's just not how it works.
So the thing with college, and this is the one thing that I find value in, is there are so many high-level connections and professors and people who actually know a lot of stuff about college. Like, I will not take that from college. Like, even though I do have opinions about college and I did drop out, I found value in reaching out to professors. Like, I had a period of time, and I almost brought him in on it, where I was starting a ed tech app where you basically can learn stuff, any sport you want on a thing. Obviously, it was a big endeavor, and I didn't have enough experience to really pursue it full time, but I reached out to a few professors and really looked into getting the resources that I needed to pursue it and build it. How much money do I need? What do I need to build? What do I need to know about running an app and building an app so that it would be successful, That was the kind of stuff that I was really looking for when I was reaching out to those people, so I could do a good job and make sure that I didn't drop several $100,000 on something that was a flop,
Yeah, and this is like...
And so that's the thing I
was going to say, like...
That's the thing
you
I will
said, like,
say
I don't
about
have
college.
enough time for it, Like... The reason why you didn't have enough time is because you already had your business started, right? Like, you had barely time to school. I remember we were in calculus. We were in some business calculus class. The only reason it was called business calculus is they teach you one compound interest formula the very first day, and the rest is just calculus. Like, we just got punked, dude. Like, I don't understand. Like, amount of classes that are just, like, business classes, they're not. They're just, like, these, like, revamped junior and senior high school classes that are, like, a little bit harder. It's just, like, man, it just sucks. But... I remember when like, you were sitting next to me one day, and you're like, dude, I literally have to leave out of town for like a week to go film for your business, and I'm like, this kid's gonna fail the class, and then like,
I did, I failed it.
So it's not that you didn't have time because you didn't want to do it; it's because you're doing so much business that you didn't even have time to like do school at that point. Like, it wasn't like, oh, I didn't want to do it because I didn't have time. Like, how many people like, oh, I wish I had more time? Like, they have more time. Like,
oh my god,
if you watch Netflix at all, play any video games, like, you have time. Like, people don't realize, like, even if you have a normal job, 9 to 5, like, you get home at 5, 6, and you, like, work another 4 or 5 hours on your side hustle. And then,
side hustle, that's how you're an entrepreneur.
Income. Like, that's just how it works. So,
like, my dream day is I wake up. Whenever I wake up, it used to be 4:30. I want to get back to it, but it's not right now. And then I work till like 10 when I go to bed, and I just work all day, and I just start building things and cranking out my future. That's like the dream. But it was like, I remember there was a time I was in my MIS class, my business information systems, the first time when I failed it. And I went into class on my laptop, and I was just like trying to take notes. I'm like, dude, that's a good idea. And I whipped out like Photoshop or something, started designing like a logo, or like started editing a video. I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. And then I failed class, so.
Yeah, literally just like, dude, I want to say, okay, so the quarantine has like, I just want to say that real quick. Like, the quarantine has literally fucked my sleep schedule so bad. There's some points where I'll be getting up at 3 p.m. and be working all the way until 6 a.m. and then I trade. And then I go to sleep at like 9 a.m. Like, it's like the most fucked sleep schedule I've ever... It's so bad. Like,
there's times I will wake up and I'll send him like a funny post or something, and I'll get a response back. And I don't know if he woke up early to trade or if he just stayed up through the night to trade. Because then through the middle of the day, I'll Snapchat him or something, and I'll get a response at like 3. I'm like, what the fuck?
Like, why is this kid responding at 3 p.m.? It's like, yeah, literally, I have like... The amount of times I've went to bed editing, like, a YouTube video and it's light out, like, I can't even count. It must be, like, 10, 20, 30 times. Like, It happens so much. It's such a bad like. Dude, it just takes
it's bad.
like, cause I'm like, oh, I can edit this in 8 hours, and then 15 hours later, I'm like, well, now I'm not gonna export it, and then it's like an hour of exporting, an hour uploading, cause my Wi-Fi and computer is slow as fuck.
The one thing I will say about the quarantine that is super nice is because for my job revolves around racing. You know, if there's a race that I have to travel to or fly to or something like that, that's where I'm gonna be. But there's no racing right now because all the shit went down. So there's no racing right now. So I have all this free time, and I'm improvising what I'm gonna do with this time. You know, I'm not just gonna sit around and play video games all day because that's a waste of time when I could be building my future. So I took the time to I saw that there was growth on my Instagram, so I took the time to grow it. You know, right now I'm at like 4,100, like 4,150, something like that. And obviously, depending on when you watch this, it might be bigger, it might be less. It'll probably be bigger, hopefully.
It might be less. Yeah, it just goes down.
It might be less. I don't know. But I'm taking the time to really grow what I've got going on. So, you know, I recently started posting every day thing. It's probably gonna last like a week before I realize I'm running out of content. But I'm experimenting with what grows the most. You know, what hashtags work. You know, what posting strategies, what cover images, you know, what posting time, because I've been doing 9:30 a.m., but I don't know if that's the best. Is 10 better? Is 9 better? You know, I'm taking the time while I have the freedom to explore, and on top of that, I am finding ways to get out and film. You know, I'm working with some local motocross riders to go and just film up in the hills. Tomorrow I got a shoot to film a supercross rider and stuff, and so I'm trying to improvise and figure out how I can make this time worthwhile while we do have time, because in every entrepreneur will say the exact same thing. Time is an asset and we don't have enough of it. I can't tell you how many times it's come to 10 p.m., 9:30 p.m., which is when I usually force myself to go to bed so I can wake up early. And I'm like, I want to do so much more work, but I have to force myself to go to bed or else my sleep schedule would be out the window.
Yeah. It's like, it's just like figuring stuff out. Like, I didn't know, like, I mean, like, day trading, for example. Like, I know, the fuck, eating a brownie. But, like,
Yeah.
But, like, yeah, like, it's like figuring stuff out, and it's like, you have, most people that are not working, right? I would drive 2 to 3 hours, every weekend to go play airsoft when I was in college. And then, you know, obviously here, too, I'm in Northern California, too, at my mom's house, and, basically, you know, like, I would go drive and play and get footage, and then, you know, depending on how much footage I get or not get, I would usually put 2 to 3 videos out per week. And that's, I think, how my channel started to get more attention too, because, you know, it wasn't like I was half-assing these videos. Like, I was taking the same amount of, like, effort into each video that I would if I would have posted once a week usually. And, you know, I was, like, posting so much more because everyone in my industry, in the airsoft industry, I guess you could say, was posting maybe once a week max. Most people, like, twice a month, or maybe even once a month, some people. And I was like, you know, I'm just going to post, like, 3 times a week. Like, no one else is going to do that. They're all going to be good videos. So I started posting more and more, and then some videos did better than others, and, like, it helped my channel grow, too. And it's like...
And I can attest, he spends a lot of time editing these videos. I can attest.
It sucks. Like, airsoft, I mean, you have, like... I have, like, a camera on my head, gun, I have a zoom camera, and, like, sometimes I have a camera I film other people, and then there's, like, 3 or 4 different cameras in the same video, and then I have to add hit markers, sound effects, and these videos are, like, hopefully at least 10 minutes for that third ad, baby! But, yeah, we can get into the airsoft, like, CPM stuff. Like, I will be completely transparent with you guys in this podcast. It's pretty shit. I'll like... So basically, in this industry, you don't really make most of your money off of, you don't make most of your money off the ads, because it's, like, maybe gun related. I'm not really sure what the problem is, but it's not getting enough ads. Advertisers that are paying more, like, such the financial niche, they get $15 to $32 sometimes on their financial niche stuff, or even real estate too, or personal finance, anything like that, or, like, anything with, like, $1 million guy in the title. But mine just, like, I'll be happy to get 80 cents for 1,000 views, and that's, like, an over 10-minute video. It's just, like, terrible. So I've done a little bit of back-end business stuff on my end, but, like, I still have to launch, like, a huge store. That's what I'm working on right now, but then this whole quarantine thing happened, so I've, like, kind of delayed it. But
you're definitely on the earlier stage of your back-end stuff.
Exactly.
We talked, and I know a lot of your plans, which we can dive into another time, but like I definitely know that you're gonna start implementing stuff when this is all over to really start moving your income from YouTube to the back end stuff. And honestly, if you probably found this podcast, it's because of him, because he's a wizard with YouTube and he understands like the algorithm, how to find it, hashtags, well, okay, let's be honest. You had to do something right to grow your channel, because trust me, I tried. I'm sitting at 700 subscribers, but
that's pretty good though. Like some people don't like.
It's not
to
bad.
me, that's good, because I remember when I had like 300 subscribers and I was like, dude, I am chilling right now. Like 300, like my God. And then like,
well, it's funny because one of the things, because obviously in my industry, the winter time is testing and preseason. There's nothing going on. There's no racing. So I really have to assess what I'm gonna do during this time, because like I said, I'm not gonna sit around and do nothing.
Yeah. Does it like?
So I took the
does
time.
It stress you out to like just sitting down and like relaxing? Like you're like, oh shit, I could be doing this, you know? Is it like? Because I know personally, like, dude, it's like I've gotten so much better at it in the last like few months. But dude, if I was sitting at my desk playing video games to like relax with my friends like once a week at max, like. Dude, I was like stressed out. I was like, dude, I'm wasting my time. Like I shouldn't do this. But now I'm like way better. I'm way better at it. But it was stressing me out.
I feel like yes and no. Like I can sit down and play video games or watch TV if I want and not feel guilty. But if I am like right now, it's very much out of our control. We can't like I don't have any races I can go film. It's very hard for me to make money right now. Luckily, I've got a couple shoots coming up in May. Next month, but it's like it's very hard for me to make money. So if I get all my videos done and I have to dig into my archives and pull out footage and edit them into a short clip for Instagram, I can only do that so much before it's like, okay, now what? I mean, I got 20 videos saved up to post up, and I'm not gonna post them all because I need to spread them out and do it in the most productive and efficient way.
Yeah.
So it's like, okay, I'm going to spend an hour and play video games because I'm not going to, I need to relax. That's the other thing is I've been trying to spend more time for personal care and not work, you know, spend the time to let my mind and my brain kind of slow down.
Yeah, I remember in college, like, it was just like, it was the most stressful, like, shit ever. Like, it would be like every single night, like, we would be up just like, at like until like 3 a.m. Like I remember my roommate freshman year, he's like really into like Greek life, so he'd always be out late like having fun, and he'd always get back and I'd still be like working at like 3-4 in the morning. And that's why my sleep schedule like initially changed, because I was like, you know, I could go to my classes in the morning, I could like answer emails or like DMs in the day like in class, or I could research like stuff, or I'm always thinking about video ideas, and then you know I would get back, edit for, I would say my average videos take like 8 hours at the least, and like maybe 16 on the higher end. Like it's usually like 10-12 hours usually for a video at least. So
mine usually take at least 20-30 hours hours to edit, but then again you also have to think it has a full-on timeline. It's usually 3 to 5 days of filming. We have interviews, we have individual shots. I have to sift through all my footage and I have to do it, but then again it's once per round, and it's only 10 rounds. So, you know, I don't have to make 10 of those per client, whereas you do this 3 times a week. And I remember specifically that I was in the same boat, you know. I would get my homework done, and then I'd stay up for 8 hours editing, you know, footage, you know. And I love this story because it was the first time I tried Adderall. I was like, I gotta crank out this music video. I'm like, I'm gonna give Adderall a shot. So I borrowed some off my friend. And I took the Adderall, and I was wired for like 6 hours cranking out this music video. And because it was one of the ones where you have to draw on each frame, and you go frame by frame.
Oh, yeah.
And it was like at 1,500 frames I had to do, and I knocked out like 500 or 600 in like that span, and then I went to class, and I almost knocked out in the middle of class because I was so exhausted.
Dude, I know. The amount of like, because I would just get up, I'd be like, okay, I'm going to bed at like the ridiculous hour. I want to get up to go to class at the very least amount, or the very least amount of time it would take me to get up and then get to class. Like I would be like, if class started at like, I don't know, like 1 p.m., I would leave at like 12:50 and walk hella fast on like the other side of campus and get there like 5 minutes late, and just be like, you know what, like this is it, like, because I would try to like get as much sleep as I could, because it was like, dude, and then like you didn't have to worry about like, then you have to worry about like roommates, like are they gonna wake you up, or like, dude, like it just sucks. So you don't get sleep, like you don't need sleep, overrated.
You do not. Oh my goodness, I can attest that.
Yeah. So bad.
I have been getting better about my schedule because especially in college, I was in the same boat where I'd save till 2, 3
Yeah.
working. But so, okay, let me just rephrase. Let's back it up a little bit. Yes, we are both staying at our parents' house right now. No, this is not the usual. I had an apartment, but my lease is up at the end of the month, so I'm moving out. He was in the dorms, but he had to move back because of quarantine.
Yeah.
Within the next month or two,
I technically left before the quarantine because I left school. Remember?
Oh yeah.
I was like, I remember.
Yeah, that's right. You dropped out.
Okay, so this is a little quick story about this. I remember so I drove my sister and her roommate with me in the car all the way back to state from our house because we live in Northern California and obviously San Diego State's in Southern California and San Diego. So I drove back and I was already super debating on even going back. I was like, I'm just gonna try to maybe get my GEs out of the way or something like that, and then maybe I'll just take some time off. And then I remember going back, I looked out at campus and I was like, I should not be here. And I stepped out of my car, took a 180, looked at their dorm, and I was like, this is not it, man. I'm just not gonna be here. I could see myself being so much more I could see myself doing so much more other things that'd be so much more valuable if I just left college. So I was like, I'm just done with this. I hate it. My parents knew I've been talking about leaving for literally the second I got there. I just have basically talked them into me leaving. Almost every day I would just be like, I can't. It just doesn't. I don't see value in this at all. But
well, see, it was a funny story for me because I thought I'd have to have this whole on argument conversation with my parents, telling them that I think I want to do this. But I kind of forgot that I went to lunch with my mom one day during the school week or something, and I brought it up to her, and I was and she's like, how's school going? And because they knew that I was not stoked on it, my grades weren't doing great because the semester
you were literally
before
missing weeks of college because you had to go out of town to film, so it's
yeah. And then I failed 2 classes, and they got on me, and they were like, okay, we have to check in every month or something like that on your grades. And so she was asking how I was doing. I'm like, yeah, it's all right. And then I told her that I was like, I don't know if I'm gonna do this much longer. I'm really considering it. I forgot I said that, and then so for a month and a half they were discussing it. So by the time that I typed out this 3-page long email or something like that explaining everything. I was citing definitions. I was citing articles from Forbes. I was throwing everything. I was throwing in videos from Gary Vee. I was fully loaded, and I was like, hi guys, please take the time to read this email. I really think that I put a lot of time and effort into it, and shut the fuck up, okay? I think this is really important, and I kind of want you guys to read this. If you have any questions, feel free to ask. I hope that by the end of the week, we can meet up and talk more about this. And then we can discuss more. Anyways, so we ended up meeting that night. I was explaining what was going on, and by the end of the night, we sat down for dinner. And they both go, alright, first of all, very well written email. Very nice. So mom and I already talked. I'm like, oh, okay. We're okay with you dropping out of college. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck?
Yeah.
It took me back because I'm like, I thought I had to fight for this. And they're like, you're supporting me? And it was actually really civil and mutual, and it was awesome. Yeah. But it was funny because I didn't even realize I kind of talked my mom into it, but I was like, shit.
Yeah.
Fine by me.
Yeah, that was it was out of nowhere for you because you think you thought. I remember talking to you about it. I was trying to give you advice what to say to your parents, stuff like that. And I remember mine was I kept edging at them for so long. Before even high school or college started, I was debating on not even going. I was like, I want to just go and resell eBay stuff and get my real estate license and figure it out. I don't want to go to college. And then I got into the entrepreneurship major at San Diego State, and I went and toured it, and I was like, well, it's kind of sick. I'll give it a try. And then, but I remember the final talk. It was fuck the sex talk, dog. This was the entrepreneurship dropout talk. This was some real shit. I was I remember my dad and mom they both came to my mom's house, and they were like, we both like sat down, we like talked about like, okay, and then my dad like he pulled me aside and like went to get coffee, and he was like, you know, like, what is your like ideas for like how much money are you making, like how much money do you need to make to like be self-sufficient, like, you know, you need to think of rent, like insurance, like all this stuff, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, I got already figured it out, I've already thought of that stuff. And my mom was more, she was a lot more supportive. My dad just was kind of like more of like a numbers person, like, because he, you know, he has his own business too, so he knows like how hard it.
I swear to God, Cameron. I swear to God, Cameron. You weren't filming the whole time? Hi, welcome back to the podcast. We had some technical difficulties. His camera
Turns
fucked
up
up.
I'm stupid.
So we're gonna
Who fucking knew?
Yes.
I didn't have my AirPods on my phone, so now you guys heard what I'm hearing, because I thought I did, but it was on my computer, so yeah, I'm stupid. Oh well. This podcast is garbage.
All right, what were we gonna say? We're just gonna restart. Okay, all right, continue from where you're saying.
I don't
Let's
even
go.
know. Okay, so let's just do a different topic. Okay, so we should do a whole episode based on like if you should drop out or not, because that's such a good topic.
Yeah, and
but basically, like, dude,
it's such a good topic.
But like for me, like, it wasn't just that I was making money. That doesn't matter. Like, even if I was making like $100,000 a year, like, I still wouldn't drop out. You have to have a plan that has longevity in it. Like, you have to be like, okay, sure, I was getting like YouTube views and like I was getting some money from that. And if it were a normal YouTube CPM, I'd be getting a lot more. Anyway, just kidding. Anyway, no, so like, but you have to have a plan. Like, I had a back-end plan to launch a brand and then have that have longevity. And I'm getting into like, you know, like day trading. Like I'm getting into a whole bunch of different industries, and I want to get into real estate maybe soon, maybe in 12 to 18 months if the market's still like, you know, if there's if it makes sense to, you know, invest in something like ROE property or REO property, sorry. But like something like that. But like, I like to be diversified and have longevity in my business or my plan, so that, you know, if something happens, like, you know, like this quarantine thing, for example, like I could still do everything I was going to do, and now I have more time because I don't want to risk running out of footage. Or, you know, like I can't, let's say this thing lasts like a lot, like months and months longer than we think. I'd rather be putting out one video, like one solid video a week, and then just not run out, than be putting out 2 or 3 a week and then run out like a few months early and just have nothing to post, you know, so.
And that's also another reason why you're teaching yourself how to day trade, because you have all this time. Might as well, you know? Like, if you're gonna spend the time to really go in depth with it, might as well. I mean, there's no reason not to. So, but definitely, like, for me, it's like, I'm so early in my stage with business. Because how long have you been running your channel?
That's a really good question. It's been like, it said my channel started in 2013, but like I don't know when my first video was posted. Like, probably at least like 3, 4, 5 years.
Let's say 5 years.
Let's say 5 years. I don't really know. I can check. I honestly don't even know at this point.
I'm just getting into my second full year. I am so early on in the business stage, which means I have so much growth. Like, I haven't even tampered into the European and international markets for motorsports videography. And the beautiful thing is, because I specialize in road, asphalt, like motorcycle racing, there is no competition. There is like none. Like, if I look at all the series, in the British Superbikes, there's like one guy, maybe two. If I look at World Endurance, there's one guy. But like for here, there's 2 other guys, but they're not putting anything. It's similar to, like, he was explaining to me that all the other airsoft channels, they put out 1 video a month. But he's putting out, you know, 3 videos a week. Some of them. But it's like, I have virtually no competition, because it's just, there's no one there. They're all in motocross, and and I'll get into the differences, because that's a very common misconception. But there's such a broad market with no one to cater to, and I just happen to be at the right place, the right time, where the American Superbike Series, which is what Moto America, which is what I focus in. I came at the right moment where they were growing and they needed the content, and they were very, very flexible with allowing me to come in and film, and it allowed it allowed me to grow my brand at a low risk point, you know, because there was all these teams and they all wanted content and there was no one to provide it to them, and that's where I came at, filled a slot. But with that being said, I have all this room for growth. Like, I have a whole plan. Ideally, I want to do Europe full time next year. I have a couple eyes on series, and I have the networking connection to make it happen. I just have to figure out a way to make it happen, you know? And so ideally, I would do Europe full time. I go over there for 3 weeks and come back for a month, you know, that kind of deal. That would be ideal. I obviously, if it doesn't work out, I have so many other disciplines and series to go to. You know, I have a whole nother backup plan for another series next year. Like, the amount of demand for this from my specific market is so high, and there's no one to cater to. And it's like a blessing because it means that I virtually cannot go out of business unless if I choose to. I'm going to say knock on wood because I don't want that to happen. But like, this is one example of like a rare occurrence. Like, I was not expecting this to happen, but we all know that as soon as this is over, racing's gonna start. It's starting up next month, you know.
Maybe we'll see. Hopefully.
So, but all the signs are pointing to yes. So I'm hoping so. But what I'm trying to say is, I had a backup plan for my backup plan. You know, like, I have all of these outlets, and when I made the decision, I had all the signs pointing to, yes, you should do this because it is the perfect opportunity to start your own business. And I had already been doing it for a year. I had proven myself that I can make a pretty decent amount of money for my age, you know? Obviously, I'm not making hundreds of thousands of dollars yet. That's for another business for me to start whenever I figure out a good one, you know? Like, I want to develop a tech app or website or something like that. That's the down line. But for now, it's a great opportunity.
Yeah, so, it's like you have to start with something and then you kind of like scale it up, and like, it's like you can't just go from like when it comes to thinking, okay, I want to like drop out of school or I want to take time off like me and Gray have. It's just like there has to be some like principle in what you're doing, right? So for me, it's like I started, you know, YouTube. It was getting decent growth, and I was like, okay, so it also has to do with your personality too, because before I got off on that tangent, like, you know, like I had my YouTube stuff and I was getting money from that, and then okay, like, I had sponsorships opportunities come up, and then you're like, okay, you could start your own brand. Okay, how do you, like, what kind of brand do you want to start? Does that have longevity in the industry? Okay, like, what's your next plan? Like, I think my end goal is I want to get into real estate investing for properties, like having cash flowing, like, you know, apartment properties or whatever I want to do, or, you know, like resident family homes, so I could have passive income while I'm growing other businesses. And I think it also comes down to your mindset too, because when it comes to like entrepreneurship, there's even a lot of people in our entrepreneurship club that were like, they're interested in the pluses of it, but they're not interested in like the cons of it. So it's like, for me, it's like I know my brain works for business. Like, I love watching business stuff. I just love like getting as much information about, you know, like any kind of business, entrepreneurship, anything. Like, I love to learn about it. It's like what my interest, right? But for some people, like, they're more, I think they're better for, like, they're better to go to school. Like, it's more beneficial for them. But I know personally how my mind works. I know that even if my YouTube channel completely died tomorrow, like it just, YouTube died, I know that in my mind I would figure out something else that would work. Like, what, you know, with the internet, there's so many opportunities, and I know I have experience learning from all these different industries, talking to a whole bunch of different people, and experiencing, you know, growing a business to some extent. So it's like, even if something fails, you know, I have, I know I could figure something out, and I think knowing to like going back and like figuring something out, that's where the value is, because I mean, like, we're entrepreneurs. It's not gonna, like, our businesses aren't gonna be, you know, like 8-figure businesses. You know, it's like, you're gonna fail a lot doing this, right? This is like I learn stuff. I'm doing stupid every day. I'm always testing video ideas. I'm always testing like, you know, product ideas. I'm always paying attention to a whole bunch of industries. Other than airsoft, actually more than airsoft, because they're doing stuff that I think I could bring into my industry, and it's like beneficial, right? Like, I started my giveaway stuff. I really like how Mr. Beast gave away like stuff to people. I was like, that sounds so much more fun than like playing airsoft. So I started to like buy guns for people and give them away, and it's just like the best thing ever. Like, that's something I took from like Mr. Beast's idea, and I was like, you know, like, might as well do it. It's so fun, right? You have to be constantly evolving, and you have to have backup plans, right? And the way my mind works is like, I'd rather learn from that struggle of a failure of a business than like learn from school, right? Does that make any sense? Like, I think that value of like learning how to like I guess learning how to start your own business, and like either it maybe like 9 out of 10 of your businesses fail, but you're learning so much from those failures, then like that makes you so much of a more valuable asset to a team or to a business if you just have a college degree. In my opinion, I think experience is way more important, in my opinion.
And here's the deal. There's this common misconception that dropping out of college means that you don't have to learn anymore.
Yeah, no.
You don't have to take classes. You don't have to learn stuff.
No,
Fucking false.
yeah.
Okay, that is the
Lie,
biggest lie
yeah.
ever. You will never
Yeah.
stop learning your entire life, because the most successful entrepreneurs will dedicate time into their daily routine to learn something, whether it's reading a book, listening to a podcast,
YouTube,
reading articles, watching videos. I personally take 30 minutes out of my morning to read a book a day, read portions of a book a day. He watches hundreds and hundreds of videos every week on day trading, business, finance. I know you watch a lot of
Graham Stephan,
finance videos, and
I never miss one of his
Graham
videos.
Stephan,
That's
a
like
good
an
one.
easier one to pay attention to, but yeah.
It's just like you can't go into possibly dropping out with the mindset that you don't have to learn anymore. Yes, you don't have to take your general ed courses. You don't have to learn about oceanography or fucking anthropology, because
I've literally taken those classes unless you're a major. Cares. Like, I want to rip my hair out.
I don't
my
care.
My roommate literally like freshman year.
Dude, okay, I don't. We can get into.
He would just like. He would laugh at me.
We can get into
I would actually be mad at doing like I was doing calculus and I was getting so pissed. I was like, why do I have to learn? Like I was just so mad at like, like I love learning. Like I spend hours and hours. If like when I'm editing videos, I have like a different monitor. I'm watching podcasts, business stuff, or even like entertainment that I could see value in. Like say Logan Paul's podcast is a little bit more entertaining, but he says some stuff that can be valuable to me as like a content creator.
He's partly the inspiration to this channel, just his free flowing, not giving a fuck kind of style, say what you want. We definitely wanted to take a spin off of that, but aim towards business and entrepreneurship.
It's like our journey, basically.
And I think, kind of. But back to the whole learning thing, like, and we can go into a whole nother episode about
I
why
wrote down
the
in my
general
notes like
education
school versus
system
like
sucks.
self-educating. Like I'm learning so much more not being in school than I was in school, if that makes any sense. Yeah.
Oh yes, I learned because there's two reasons, and we can expand on this later. When you self-educate, you're self-motivated because you are forcing yourself to do it, whether you want to or not. And if you're self-educating, you retain it more because it's something that you need.
Yeah.
I'm gonna retain more learning about a Roth IRA and how to invest it to make compound interest, so that when I retire, I'm 65, when I want to retire, I have $1 million plus in my bank account, in my Roth IRA account. Then if I'm learning about the Homo sapiens evolved from whatever the fuck I don't know. I didn't pay attention to that class. Okay, I cheated. Okay.
I cheated too. Like fuck it, I cheated.
Sue me. Sue me. I don't care. I don't care.
It makes sense if you're like a doctor or a lawyer or an engineer. Like you need to know and be qualified in the same like classes as your peers, because then you have the same knowledge of building a building or saving someone's life or reciting like laws that are very important to know. But with entrepreneurship, it's like purely self-sacrifice to getting self-knowledge to and experience to getting stuff. Like
I say the times when you absolutely need to have a degree and go to college is when it's a science-based or not a non-experience-based degree. If you're going into neuroscience or chemistry, I don't know, biochem, you can't learn that via YouTube. You have to be in the lab experimenting. You have to have someone who knows more to explain to you, how that stuff works. For an engineer, you can learn a lot online, but unless you have the resources to rebuild an entire car engine and assemble an entire car or build,
it's just like a trade,
What I'm trying to say is,
that says you have to, because I don't want someone working on my heart if they don't have a certification that says they're allowed to do that. It's like.
It's not even that. It's just the 90% of people don't have the resources to be able to do a mock heart transplant at their home in their basement.
Yeah.
If you do, you should be certifiably seen by a psychiatrist or have the FBI like scope out your place to make sure you're not doing things sketchy. Because if you have a home built morgue in your basement and you are doing like heart transplants with like decommissioned or fake hearts on like mannequins, and this is like a hobby, I'm concerned for you. Now, if you are doing this for a job, okay, I can understand that. But if you're doing this for like fun, dude,
it's just like, oh my god,
I'm not even gonna comment.
Bad. It's like, it's just like if you you have to like put the time. It's just like you have to put the time into learn. It's like it's not like there's no like get rich quick, like no one, all those kids you see on like on the internet that are like super young and have a lot of money, like they've put the years into making it to that point. No one starts a YouTube channel and gets $1 million in 3 months. That's not how it works. Or no one starts day trading in 3 months and gets money. No one starts like making, like doing what you're doing. Like no one, like it just doesn't work like that. You need to get your network and like stuff like that.
Or 2 words: rich parents. It's one or the other. It's one or the other.
Yeah, that could be nice.
No, but so like especially for me, I mean, I only have been doing this for 2 years, but really, this is 8 years in the making because I raced for 6 years, and the amount of connections I made with sponsors and brands, and the amount of experience I learned talking to people, talking to companies and stuff, trying to hash out business deals, because essentially, as a rider, when you're getting sponsorship, it's a two-way street. You have to meet it. You have to meet at the middle. You have to figure out a way that you can hash out a deal where it's mutually beneficial to both sides. I have to make sure that if I'm dealing with a helmet company, like one of my old sponsors, if I'm going to say, I'm trying to get a free helmet so I can minimize my costs, what do you want? And they say, we want a post a month and a story every other week, or whatever it is. I'm not saying that's what I had to do. You have to have the business mentality to be able to sort that, and that's where a lot of my entrepreneurship experience came from, is writing those sponsorship emails, signing contracts, and not even that, going to races and having to talk to the sponsors, having to talk to the fans, the people, and networking along with it. That's where a lot of the networking comes, because it's no different than business. If you're a rider and that guy over there is the representative to a big company, and you have to go and try and get him to sponsor you, you have to come approachable, you have to strike a conversation, he has to like you, and then you have to hit it off. And then he's like, I like you, let's try and hash out a deal, That, all that, and on top of that, all the teams, all the riders, everyone that I met, even the organizers of the series, all that comes back to help you out in the end. So it's like, it was not an overnight thing. That was an 8-year process to get me to where I am now. So it's like, and honestly, it's 9 because I started when I was 11. So
exactly. It's like you have to put in the time to like get stuff. Like
100%.
It just takes 100%. Like so much experience, and like same with I'm learning like day trading and stuff too. Like I really just started maybe like researching it maybe a month ago. I mean, I knew some stuff freshman year, but I really I've been getting back into it because obviously I have more time.
Yeah, let's be real. Every entrepreneurship has researched at some point. They have researched day trading at some point. I remember I researched it at some point.
Because everyone like, they're like, oh, I want to like, I know what stocks are, right? Like I want to put money. I want to get rich quick. I want to make $1 million. Like, and there's a lot of courses too online, and it's like, courses could be a good idea too if you want to learn something quick. Because I've thought about doing courses for YouTube. I'm not really sure if I'm gonna take that route because my channel specifically and in my niche and stuff, but like, I considered, making courses on like how to take airsoft from like a hobby, or how to take, like writing as a hobby and make it a job. And like that's and I've done it for so many years. Like I know exactly what to tell people to do it, and it's basically just up to like people are gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna put the time in. I'm gonna put hours and hours a day into like learning this, or they're not gonna do it, and it's like a waste of time. So that's why I think a lot of courses get a bad rap too. So
and it's like one of those deals where it's like, if you are not prepared to put in the hundreds of hours it takes to learn.
So much time.
I cannot stress enough when people say, I'm so bored, I have so much time on my hands. I am so envious of you because I do not have enough time. I cannot stress how much time it takes. I can not stress enough how much time it takes to become good at entrepreneurship. Like, it's not... we can say over and over, it is not an overnight thing. Overnight success has 6 to 7 years of build up before.
Yeah,
Someone
like
quote
we're
me
like
on that.
it's not like we don't know anything. Like we put in the time enough to be able to start businesses and then start learning from that. Like we're actually making money. We've actually have years of experience in our industries. Like we have we both have experience with like contracts, sponsorships. I have experience like growing YouTube and social media and all the algorithm stuff behind that. And you have experience, like dealing with clients and like communications with people.
Networking.
Exactly, networking. Like. And then this is like our first few businesses, and then in 10 years, 20 years from now, we're gonna be a lot more like knowledgeable on like I'll probably be a lot more knowledgeable on real estate investing and maybe even trading and stuff. Like with my thing with trading is like I'm learning it because I have the time, but I'm not sure if I'll be able to have the time in like a year or two. Like I'm doing it so that I could learn something new, and it's like I'm challenging myself to a new task, and maybe I could make some, maybe I'll lose some money. It's like, and realistically, it's gonna take years of me getting up, like 6, getting up at 5 or 6, and then trading at 6:30, and like getting that, like actually learning it from experience, losing money, making money. It's gonna take years, but it's like, maybe I'm gonna do the podcast. Maybe we're gonna do this every week, and maybe that's gonna be too much time to day trade. And it's like, it's just you have to figure stuff out along the way, So.
Yep. No, I totally agree on basically all that. Like if you, because especially like for you. Shit, in a month everything may just randomly like go back to normal and you're out shooting again, and you go shoot 3 times a week, and then the other 3 days of the week or 4 days of the week you're editing. You're not gonna have time to go do that because you're gonna be working the entire time. It could happen any day. It's like especially like nowadays everything's so changing so fast. We could be in quarantine for another year. We never know.
Who knows?
I hope to God not. But it could happen.
It could happen. Yeah, so it's not like, and it's like for me, I could be playing video games all day, or I could be learning on a new skill, and like, sure, like I could be, sure I could not do it for the rest of my life. Maybe it's just like a thing I'll do for a year and learn some stuff, and maybe it's not for me, but like I could make, that could be my new job, and it could make more money than I do with airsoft, and that, I would never know unless I tried it out. Like I've tried out. I remember getting into like drop shipping is a huge one. A lot of kids get into, because it's like it looks cool. It's like you're taking stuff that you don't even have. You don't have to hold inventory, and you're selling it to someone that wants it, and you don't even own the product. You didn't make the product. You didn't do anything. You just it's a marketing platform to people to find cheaper stuff in China from wherever it is, AliExpress. That's obviously like the super stereotypical version. It's kind of different nowadays, but I mean, and like
I think I want to do a whole episode on that too.
Quick stuff. Yeah. We can do a whole episode on every single thing, dude. Everything.
We could do like several episodes on all this stuff.
Yeah,
but
like every single thing we could do is different.
Dude, it's crazy. But no, especially with like the drop shipping stuff, and like a lot of these businesses, they look pretty, but they're not. Like there's so much that people don't know, and that's something I want to cover too. Is like all the behind the scenes that people don't realize. Like you'll see videos saying I made 30,000 in a day off of drop shipping. But they don't show you the 25,000 they invested in the business.
They don't show you ROI. They don't show you the revenue.
They don't show you anything. They just show you the stats.
Profit.
Like this is how much profit I made. Yeah, they just show you like I made this much in profit, and then realistically, 80% of the profit came from the AdSense on the 100,000 views that the video got because it's a finance one. Like there's so much you don't realize that goes on behind the scenes that like I won't say we want to exploit, but like we really want to show you so you guys understand before you get into it that this is what happens and that it's not as pretty as it looks. So
I mean, like when I had a friend too. One of my friends. We'll have him on the podcast too. He does he trades micro futures the micro future S&P market on a Thinkorswim right now, and he's like been learning that for I think the past like 8 months. I think he's been learning like day trading stuff like that, and he's just about to like fund his account and go from paper trading to live trading. We can have him on too. But I remember like half a year ago he was asking me like. He was getting into like day trade, trading and drop shipping, and like I feel like drop shipping and day trading are the few markets that like people are like, oh, I could put a few months in and like make some money. It's like if you want to make like good money in general with anything, like I don't care what the course says, like they're probably lying if they say it's gonna take like under like a year. Like if you want to be successful at any industry, like literally like. any kind of social media, any kind of like making money online, day trading, like real estate, anything, you have to put most of the time at least years, like a few years into something, and be putting in hours a day to learn something and like testing stuff out. Like it just doesn't. It's not overnight at all.
I'm gonna slightly counter you on that.
Okay.
Let me just back it up here. If you study something for a couple months, you can make money. You can definitely make good money. I would not consider that successful unless if you're making more than a living. If you're making what you'd be making paycheck to paycheck off of drop shipping or day trading with 3 months experience, I would not consider that successful. If you have enough to buy a $30,000 BMW after a year's worth of experience and you're doing that every month, I consider that successful. You know, if you're making $30K a month, that's you can make money off of very little knowledge, but in order to be actually good at it and make more than a living, it takes a lot of
it's like you can I guess I'll phrase it. You can make money like maybe $30 a day day trading, but to be at the 1% of people in any, because in my opinion you have to be at least the top 10, maybe 5, maybe even 1% in an industry to even make a lot of money. Like this podcast, like we have nobody. Nobody's gonna watch this video. Maybe, who knows? But like, and then it blows up. And I regret saying that. But it's like to go from like making like some money to like a full-time living or having longevity in your business or your skill. Like if you're a trader or a real estate agent, to be able to like make, let's say, 6 figures a year. Before taxes or whatever. Like that's the longevity in it taking years to create. Like you could make, you could get lucky and sell a house being a real estate agent in your first month, but consistently making the same profit or more every year, that's like experience, that's longevity, that's like true value in putting your time into something basically.
And a lot of that comes with, like I said, self-education. If you're teaching yourself how to do this and you're putting the hours to learn, it's going to pay off so much in the end because you're going to be one step ahead of everyone else who isn't putting in those hours.
Yeah.
And ultimately speeds up the process because let's phrase it this way. Let's say you watch 1,000 videos in a year and everyone watches the same one. If you watch, I'm not even going to bother doing the math. Let's just say you watch 5 videos a week or something like that. And that just spreads out over 1,000 videos over the year. If you take those and you watch 10 videos a week instead of the average 5, you're basically taking a year's worth of videos and condensing into 6 months. And if you watch those same 1,000 videos, but you do it twice and you watch 2,000, you have 2 years worth of knowledge for the average person. And that will pay off so much when it comes time to actually turn this into a full-time job, basically. Because you're going to have twice the amount of knowledge. You're going to have basically twice the amount of experience learning this stuff and playing with paper trading, whatever it is. And you're going to be twice as successful as everyone else when it comes time to actually put this in action.
Yeah. It's like for me too, like I think experience is smart because you could spend 2 years researching on how to be the best YouTuber ever, but if you don't start, in my opinion, posting a video a day for 2 years straight, like that'll get you so much more successful than like learning about YouTube for 2 years. Like you have to actually put in the time and like try it out, because that's learning from experience versus learning from like others or like information online or teachers, whoever. That is so much more valuable as like learning yourself. But all right, Ghost. So we had a little problem. My camera just stops recording after, I think it's like 30 minutes, so I'll have to fix that next podcast. But we dove into a cool couple topics that weren't recorded, but we're gonna make our own episodes to that because it's really like complicated, like in-depth subjects. So we're gonna make their own episodes on those topics anyway. But yeah, so it's just like a little introduction, like who we are, what the podcast is kind of gonna be about. We're gonna start posting a lot of videos. Consistency is key. But yeah, with that said, closing out, like the video, subscribe, and we're going to be doing a lot of videos, on people that know more than we do, in different industries, and kind of just like, this is going to be our overall journey in the entrepreneurship world. If you want us to follow on and see a couple kids fuck up their lives because we dropped out of college, feel free to subscribe. We're going to be doing a whole bunch of like updates on our like careers and like choices we make, why we make them. Our overall kind of our journeys on as entrepreneurs, as young 20-year-olds. So that's basically the gist of it.
most importantly, we're gonna exploit our lives. So fucking subscribe to watch that because that's exciting.
Yeah, exactly.
And yeah, this is the Dropouts podcast. We dropped out so you don't have to.
Exactly. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one, guys. See you, man.
Peace.
I said see you, man. Fuck it. Hold on. I'm gonna do that again. Hold on.
Oh my god.
Yeah. So you said it. I'm gonna say it, and then we could just put
it's
it
fine.
together.
It's fine. It's fine, dude. No one's gonna care.
All right, guys. So this has been the Dropouts podcast. We dropped out, so you don't have to. All right. See you guys in the next one. All right. That's good.